exciting.
Yeah, the stream is
Sensory.
live.
There it is. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live stream today. It's going to be me and Mel, and we are joined by Felix and Holly from Practical Personality.
Yay.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you for having us.
We are joined by Felix and Holly from Practical Personality.
It's the echo because I had it on my YouTube. Woo.
Demon sensory for this new thing.
Please forgive us.
Yes, please. Please forgive us for that.
5-second delay. It's not really live. What a scandal.
Good point.
Wow.
All right.
Breaking news.
So last spring, we made a video where we were talking about, actually, can you remind me of that sensory? We were talking about twos and just their qualities, right? Qualities about twos. We were responding to the Practical Personality video. And yeah, we started beef. But we've had some chats and we've worked it out quite a bit. We've done a lot of processing together, had a lot of interesting discussions. We thought it'd be really interesting and fun to get us all together and chat about this a little bit more. So we each kind of have some questions like relating to the processing of these sorts of things that we're going to go through. And then two, we are also going to be touching on, I believe in my question, something very topical right now, which is Shan's topic of changing social coins. Because that's how this all started too, right? A lot of this is processing social coins. A lot of us in the community still are, because even though it's been a year and a half, it's still pretty new to all of us, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah. I don't know about you guys, but it took I feel like I'm just, this could be sleep last. I feel like I'm just feeling comfortable with my 512. Like after learning it in 2018, I feel like I've just now settled into it. Have you guys settled faster? Really curious about that real quick.
I really think that, at least for me, having the socials definitely helped, because I felt like there were a lot of incongruencies there. And I was like, a lot of this doesn't quite fit with my personal experience. And then so learning that I was a social 3 was like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. So yeah, that definitely helped.
That's
Yeah, I got hyped in 2020, and for me, it definitely took several years to kind of understand how it actually expresses itself through me, because you get the information and you've been preloaded with all the videos that you have consumed, so you think you understand it, but you don't actually do. And I think you still have to realize for some time that you don't understand. Okay, what does it mean for me to be blah, blah? How am I under communicating? How am I creating all these problems in my life? You just don't know, and you kind of see it more and more as you start paying more attention to it. And then very slowly you can change your behavior a little bit to do something about these voids, but it does take a long time. And then the socials come on top of it, and they explain a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff made sense to me about my life and why I was struggling. But then how do I deal with that? How do I change it? Like, how can I come to a place where I'm struggling less? Like, it just takes a lot of time.
Oh, yeah. Right. And perhaps we'll always be learning to some degree, but the big waves will hopefully be getting smaller and smaller. Yeah. How about you, Melanie?
Oh, look, we have people in the chat. How exciting.
Okay.
Hello.
Been activated.
Yes. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Lily. Let's see if I can. Oh.
Hey.
What up? Thanks, you guys, for coming by. Everybody else, yes, please do. Please say hi. Please, if you have any comments or questions, share them during this, and I will put them up. And thank you, Melanie. Yes, please keep me honest with that. Feel free to point out to me because I have other windows open with our questions and everything. So if I miss something, let me know.
Yeah, we have a lot of play energy in this show, right? It's a lot. We're not like play last, right?
Yeah, at least that.
Okay. But wait, really, the question. Sorry, I totally skipped. I think yeah, I had accepted my type when I got it. I was like, oh, this really, like, right away, I made a lot of sense. But then when I got the socials, the generalist, like, it's funny because responsibility spoke to me. That was what the whole, like, I was so, like, my impassioned argument was, I was like, I'm so responsible. But, you know, it's evolving now too, which is something you just brought up, Julie, like that the definitions and like whatever it's changing the socials. So generalist / just the wide range, the wide perspective really speaks to me. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, it's me. So yeah. I feel like it makes sense.
No, good. And that's interesting too, because I think that your type is kind of congruent, but it's nice to hear that it still helped you, right? Because like some of us, like mine is incongruent, like Holly said, but it's like, even if you're congruent, there's still stuff to process with that, right? It still adds like another layer to the onion of learning your type.
Yeah. And with, my cat is bugging me. The new, I haven't watched the new live show all the way through, but the newer like changes that are happening, there's like the self versus tribe motivation possible coin that Shan was discussing. And I still like, it's funny because now I'm harping on that specific SI word. I'm like, I don't know if I'm tribe motivated or self motivated, but it really feels like I'm self motivated. So, you know, there's that question too. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I think like she was talking about leaves on a tree. Like it's not going to be the exact same for everyone, which made me feel a lot better about when I was just saying like, you know, oh, practical personality is not saying this, and this is my experience. So it's like, yeah, people are individuals. So it's going to be different. Oh my God, my fake nose ring fell out. I decided to wear a lot of costume jewelry. I'm going to put another one in. But anyway, I am now grappling with that. But I just thought it was interesting to bring up since it is always changing. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, very much like that Shan kind of opened up the conversation basically publicly to the community and talked about her thought process. And I like the tree structure, this idea that you have certain leaf patterns, how she calls them, which are basically anecdotes, which do cluster in certain types, but it's not the best way to type it. But then you go kind of further down to the root and ask, okay, what's the real core pattern that's driving someone who's a generalist, or that's driving someone with savior friends, or whatever we want to call it. And she wants to have that reflected in the wording, but it's a really hard question because like everyone's experience is different, as you already said. We chatted privately about the idea to call friends collaborate or collaboration, and I feel like it resonated with me, but not so much with you, Julie. And I just like the discussion. Okay, maybe that's the time for beef right now.
Let's
exactly.
Do it.
Okay, Julia, explain. Why don't you like collaboration?
Why, thank you. I think that collaborative, I think that collaborative has a bit of generalize in it. And 4s are kind of mini 2s, like people have said, right? Because we have friends first, generalize isn't last, it's third. So it's like, I do think we really grow into our collaboration, but like exactly like you were just talking about with Shan's tree, it's like, but what's really at the root, right? Because like I look back at young Julie and I try to like really see how other people saw me when I was younger, the things I was doing. And young Julie was very swept by people. Like I feel like that's at least a core root of friends for me. Hey, Zachy.
Hello.
Hello. And sorry, hi, David, as well again, because I feel like I showed his hello whenever we were chatting. Okay. Like I feel like there's a lot that's at the root of being a 4, but of like the friends coin. But I was always working off by myself. And what I was chatting about this with someone, like, for instance, in grad school, where I really even started to super blossom into my friends and my blast during grad school. But something my boss and other people were always complaining about me was that I was going off and doing all the work by myself. I would go into the lab when I was alone, because honestly, if other people were around, I would just be like, oh, do you need help? which I guess is, you can see that is collaborative, but it feels swept. Like I'm not like, let's work on this together. I'm more like, I'm here. I can help you with what you're doing right now. Okay, now I'm going to go back to what I'm doing. And it's like, I'm sorry, and I'm totally sleep blasting this. It's like, because I have specialized second, I like have deep responsibility for whatever I'm doing. And I definitely have that specialized thing going on where it's like, I want to do my part and then I want you to do your part. And when you're doing your part, you tell me what to do. And when I'm doing my part, but like, even in amongst our femmes, like I've seen where it feels like other people are trying to more spread it out more evenly. Like, no, let's kind of all do this together. And I struggle with that with my TI and my specialized. I want to go off by myself to like do work kind of thing. So, and that's what people have always told me. My boss was like, you need to come out more with what you're doing. You need, like, why can't I give you students? Like, she could never give me students to like help with my work. I didn't know how to bring other people onto it. It's probably something I wonder if I would still struggle with that now. I feel like I'd be a little bit better working my generalized, but okay. That's my thought. That's my sleep last processing right there.
So it sounds like specialized, like kind of sticks more to you, for you, right? Huh.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Nathan says, I'm with Julie.
Yeah, Nate, you're also a 4 too, right? Nate is a 4, I believe.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
What do you guys think, Holly and Felix, about that? Because that's like, I'm so curious about these leaves on the tree, because it's like, okay, here's 2 4s saying like, I don't know. But in when you guys were chatting, like, what are you seeing that you feel the collaboration works?
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
You can go first.
Yeah, my experience is a bit different than Julie's. But not entirely, because when I work on something, I really need kind of like my intrinsic motivation that I want to work on this thing because I like it or because it fits with my goals and I like that kind of work. And I need to bring myself in personally. But thinking back, especially when watching Shan's live show, it's like, no, I think I am best and I feel best when I have people around me who work on the same thing. And this was in university, for example, in like when I did my bachelor's and master's, where we collaborated a lot because I studied mathematics and we had a lot of extremely hard exercises to solve on a regular basis. And if you're not a complete genius, you can't do that alone. And I needed people to work with me to basically survive, but I also enjoyed the experience more. And later on in grad school, when I did my own research, when I mostly worked alone, I could still do it, but I didn't enjoy it as much. And I felt really less motivated. And only in hindsight, I realized, I think I need the tribe around me to work well, to feel more consistently motivated. And right now, Holly and I are working together on our project, and I really enjoy it. And I do need kind of my own little parts in it where I have more control or where I work by myself, like when I write my articles, when I edit, which I also very much enjoy, but that we are together on the long haul and supporting each other just being together, but also putting our heads together for ideas, helping each other grow with feedback. That's really, really important to me. And I guess it was something I had to realize about myself, that I'm not as independent, not really as I guess some part of me would like to be. So I do overall very much resonate with the word collaboration.
Yeah.
What was that? What was collaboration like replacing, or what was the word that it was? Which one?
Friends.
And Mish agrees with that.
Yeah, it sounds, because it sounds so to me, I'm going, that really sounds very much like my experience too, in the generalist sense. It's so funny because it's like, are we using these words? But now, I've landed on generalist. Yeah, well, it's always evolving, so that's cool. That's a comfort to me. I think are we all OE? Yeah, we are. So it's like, no one's controlling us, bro. Like, But it does sound like it's like a generalist thing. It sounds like a number 2 / generalist thing of, yeah, like maybe bringing in a specialist to help you in the areas because you want to take that broad view. And then so you're collaborating with the specialist to get that part done that you're like, I don't really see that clearly. So like, let me collab with others. To me, that's how it sounds, or how I would experience it, I think.
I was wondering about that because I was also thinking about people we've been typing, and there were several number 4s, like even a number 4 who we typed recently, who was a 4 and lead TI, who used the word collaboration and really enjoyed collaboration. He again wants to know, okay, he knows what he can do, what he can bring to a project, but then he wants to work really with others. And it was like DIs and DEs have been using that word.
Okay, Nathan just said exactly what I was about to say. is that their natural state, or are they talking about it because they discovered it, right? Just like Paula White, I made a video recently, and so I was processing her again. Like, Paula White discovered charity, right? And I think that that's a really awesome, good discovery for them, is charity that helps them get even stronger. And I think for 4s, it's kind of comparable, where exactly like collaboration is so powerful and we should be doing it. It's like, definitely, I don't want to say like 4s don't do collab, right? But I think it's not our natural state, like when we're little 4s walking around the world.
Yeah, you might be right about that, because the TI form I'm thinking of is middle-aged now and has some experience. Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Lily, what do you mean by synergy? I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, Lily says, as a TE, she says collaborations tons of times a day.
Yeah, me too.
Holly, do you too?
Yeah, it feels like collaboration is a real TE word. Like, you're just thinking about work whenever you say collaboration, or at least that's how the TEs feel. But like, it's not just, because for us, work is also just like being with people, because they're kind of one and the same. Like, you want to work together, but you also hang out together, and there needs to be kind of like a work element involved to a certain extent. So it's like collaboration is with work and hanging out with people. But that's where I kind of wonder whether the word collaboration for people with FE has a different meaning.
Well, as lead TI, I feel like it definitely, for me, feels, I related it to work. However, perhaps a lead FE person, would feel a little differently. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Someone else in the community had a video I feel like I just, because like double masculine consume is just always absorbing, so I don't even remember who had something about FE in business, and I didn't. Who was it?
Hosea, who talked about some of the like businessmen with FE lead and how they were good about seeing what other people were good at.
Yeah, it's something else. It was something negative about it, but I do have to watch that. But I guess in my experience with the demon FE, like bottom FE, but also double activated, and also, allegedly generalist or / like friends coin. We're not sure, or I am not 100% sure. It sounds like what you just said, Holly. Like it sounds like TE is like my TI and FE mashing together. I don't know. That sounds relatable to me, but anyway, I'm not sure why I was bringing up the other FE community one, but it sounds like a number 2 INTP sounds like they somewhat have TE in the way that, at work I'm always hanging out with whoever I'm working with. Like, it is more, if like work is also like a social life type of thing, so we're always like, I guess, collaborating. Yeah. I don't know if that word is, it's like sleep last thing. Like, I'm like, I don't know if that word is hitting me, if it's connecting or not, but I do often find myself in that situation where I am like, whoever I'm around, like they're like, we're all hanging out together and creating something and all that, like on film sets, bartending, all the 25 million jobs that I do. So yeah, no real point to that. No real blast, but just
here. I mean, and maybe too, I can relate to what Zaki said. Like, he said he can get MTI protective, but he enjoys accomplishing things. So maybe too, like in our collaboration, there needs to be the whole jubilee going on. Like that does need to be, and a part of it.
I love that
that makes
overprotective thing. The TI, masculine TI, overprotective. That is like one point. Totally.
Yes, agreed.
So like, we're trying, but we're just so prickly with our masculine TI. We're trying to be like friendly. That's so funny. So, maybe
I also think that TEs in number 3 can be similar. Like it can sort of come across as TI with work, because you're like, you've got the TE, you still feel obligated to collaborate, but then at the same time, like, you know your role, you're the specialist, you don't want anyone else doing your job for you. So you get very protective of that role.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh, I feel that. Like, so me and my husband are both specialized, and we're a 4 and a 3, and it's like we can get very weird about who does what and stuff. But then too, there's also the flip of it where like if nobody's doing it, we're like, you're the one that's responsible.
Oh yeah.
No, you are. You specialize. That know you.
Does it even? Sorry, just like scabosh that laugh. Vibe ruiner. I think. Felix, do you agree with that? Like, because we're both, generalists. Do you like? Would it even occur to you that like somebody has their role, so like it might be infringing on their, or like stepping on their toes or something? If you're like, let's all collab and make it all work together. Because I feel like I get into that misunderstanding sometimes where I'm like, I just see everything all the time. So I thought it just doesn't occur to me that somebody has their role. Kind of like the job is real thing.
Yeah, for me it's similar. Like, no, that makes perfect sense what you're saying. That I don't feel really protective about certain roles. I feel like, okay, this is kind of the project, and there are the different roles, and everything needs to be done, and I kind of have to have the overview, and I'm ready to do whatever.
But is it more your work, not so much
not
the role, but the work?
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. So like I'm happy to give roles away. Like if you say you want this role and you're gonna do it, then I might need to kind of communicate, make sure that's actually get done, but I'm happy to give the role away. Like one less role, nice. Yeah. But like within one role, the work that I'm actually doing, let's say when I'm writing a script, then I'm super protected of that. Then it's like, okay, I need to write it to a degree that I feel satisfied with to call that a first draft, and you're not allowed to look at it before. Like, script. Please don't, like this is private.
The masculine TI comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, script, but then like,
oh, right.
Sorry?
It's script for your show, right? Like it's a okay. I didn't know if that was like a code for a different job or something. But okay, cool.
No. I mean the writing for our YouTube videos and for our newsletter. Like this is something that I'm kind of where I guess the role is more private to me, but that's rather a unusual thing, I think, in the roles that we have right now in what we're doing. But in the role, I'm very protective of the specific work I'm doing. And I have a very my relationship with feedback is very complicated because I know I need it to actually become good and to create something that is good. But I can be overly sensitive about getting critiqued on my work. So I really need to open myself up to the pain of someone saying, hey, you can do that better. Hey, maybe change it in a way that actually improves it.
That's why it's so cool. Just to like really quick, it was so cool to talk to you, like, because I feel like I was able to listen to criticism, like we were both able to listen to criticism on each other's part when we were talking about the video that, the FFem's video talking about practical personality. And I was like, yes, I can grow from this. Like it really felt like some growth when we were able to like see each other's point of view. So just saying that. So like, thank you for helping me grow practical personality. Appreciate it.
Aww.
Thank you.
But it was a challenge, but it was very helpful for our masculine TI.
Yeah, no, I see it exactly the same way, that it is super helpful, but you need to kind of consciously choose the discomfort that comes with that. But then you grow so much more and get so much better on the back end.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get some masculine F for all of us and some flex going on. Yes. Okay. Like, okay. Where do I want to do you guys want to talk about any of these other ones as well? I wish I could almost share the screen, but there's also like for flex versus friends, there was also reactive versus proactive. I thought was pretty good. What do you guys think of that one? But that one's kind of hard because
there was one was that the one that you picked, Julie? There was one that you came up with, I think.
I liked a bunch. Oh, the one I came up with. Look at my flex low. I'm like, the last one I'll mention.
I said it in our Fems chat too. I was just like, yes, this one like instantly resonates.
Oh,
I'm looking for.
I had flex versus harmonize.
Yes, that harmonize word. Oh my god, that was really speaking to me. It feels like that's what it's doing. Like flex is like, this is mine. Harmonize, I feel like, is similar to collab, but kind of captures in my, you know, TINE double feminine experience, because it's like I like turn into this cloud, or I think I said it is like Jello in one video of like just going around what I need to become to accommodate the situation. So yes. Collab and harmonize together feels like it really like captures what's happening.
Thank you.
Your part, but yeah, it is like maybe we can put like becoming Jello as one of them. Like
I know, right? And accommodating is pretty good too, right? I like that because it is like, oh, I'll move for the needs of everyone at the moment, right? Because like tribe motivate, like because it does. Part of why I liked reactive is, for me, it does feel reactive. However, like I am sleep last. So it's like I do always need to remember too that it's like your functions are overlapping it. So it can be hard to kind of like completely disentangle that because I know I'm especially reactive. But exactly, I feel like with friends at the top, yeah, it is like you're trying, like you see everyone as equal as well, like with flex at the bottom, it's like, and again, I think people with sleep higher and so on and so forth maybe see a little more. I don't know if anybody wants to add into this, but the whole hierarchy, it's like for me, I just feel so set. Like my mind will just be like, no, we're all equal. Like, and I could get very like ferocious about it in my mind and like protective of it. But that's part of like the harmonizing, is feeling like we can all be awesome. Why can't we all be awesome together? Like, let's all be at the top. Like, Felix, I want to see what you said. Felix felt like you weren't so sure about the harmonize word.
Your face gave it away.
No, that was on purpose.
Yeah, it's perspectives.
I can see where you're coming from. I'm just not a big fan. Because, well, for once, flex and harmonize don't mesh well in my mind. Like if you use harmonize, then you would need like something else than flex, something that kind of fits and describes a clearer spectrum of harmonize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is more binary, but in that regard, it can be saved. And I guess harmonize for me, it's like I guess it expresses what you like, right? The kind of the Jello that you become everything. To me, it sounds a bit too wishy-washy. It's like, okay, harmonize, like what does it exactly mean? Like, are we playing music together? Are we working? What is this? And then it feels like it's less people would use that word, like compared to maybe connection or friends or collaboration. It seems a bit a bit too specific for its own good. But I do agree with you that it fits in some sense. It's just maybe a bit too abstract or too vague.
Not sensory enough.
Yeah, just not as tea enough. But this is my take.
Holly, what do you think? Can you see it? Because we're all NEs, and then Felix is our only savior sensory at the moment. So it does sound like an NE word, because I'm just like,
it does sound like an NE word. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we solved it. That's funny.
I mean, so no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just wondering what the binary would be, but like a lot of brainstorming.
Yeah, because I guess it would have to be the opposite to flex. And like I always found flex to be a weird word as well. Like one that I initially was like, I don't know how to relate to this. Like, what do you mean flex? Like, I was like, I don't see myself outwardly flexing. What does it look like? And I think like kind of over time, as I was thinking about it, it's kind of like yes, as a 3, there is like a professionalism that I kind of have with my interactions with people. Like it's really difficult to just be like super relaxed and casual. And I don't know like how much of this is also decided, like to an extent you kind of feel like you have to have a guard up somewhere just in case. I don't know. Like I would never let someone catch me in my pajamas, like that kind of thing. Like we see people, especially in New Zealand, certain places, people going to the supermarket in their pajamas, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like you're gonna see people you know.
Professional versus casual actually honestly sounds like it works very well.
Amazing. I love that.
It feels too much like a leaf pattern, but I think you're onto something. I think it's
Yeah, I
feel like this is quite casual compared to me.
David said, I'm in my PJs right now.
Nice. Hey, David, you got to show us your PJs.
Yeah, showed her it's not true. Lily thinks it's funny. No, it's true. I mean, my husband, Lily, would you go to the supermarket in your PJs? As a two? With TE. Yeah, because I know, Parker wouldn't. Parker is I remember when we did our ops video, like when my husband and I did them, he did his a few months after me. When I did it, like Dave and Shan back then had a video where they were in the car and they were like, do it sloppy. And I was like, done, and it was just like it was super sloppy, right? It was like the day I decided to do it. I recorded it that night. It was tired. My cats, there was like food, but there's like food off to the side. I was just like, oh man. Like I just like, all in on the floor there. But my husband, like I remember he got dressed up, like had his little like button down and was like doing all this stuff and preparing his desk for his video. He's a 3, and I was just like, I remember making fun of him, being like, ooh.
It sounds like both of you, it's like representing your best self. Like really speaks to me. What is when you're making the video, Julie, like it's just like doesn't really, you don't think about it? Because like when Holly just said that about I wouldn't go to the store in my pajamas, I totally relate. I relate to flex a lot. So that's another reason. I think I was telling all of you, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm a number one because I flex a lot, but I also live in a crazy city where I'm always like grr to everyone. But like does like, and what you're saying about Parker, it's just like I feel like it's like representing yourself in the best way or something. But like when you're making the video, like do you just not like what do you? I guess just like
what am I thinking?
Like what makes you not flex? I don't even know what the question is.
Oh, sure, yeah. Let me answer that. Let me show people's responses really quick. Lily said that she did. However, Zaki said that he would never. And Nathan said if he needed to. It's Walmart, man. What better way to collab than to meet others in my PJs?
Depends on what your PJs are, Nathan.
I mean, we actually collaborate while in our PJs, just not in front of the camera.
That's beautiful. Okay, let me get back to Melanie's question. And again, like as Zaki shows too, it's like how much of this is because I'm sleep last, and or maybe even his masculine sensory is playing in a little bit. I don't know, but like what?
What is that?
Zaki
is that
is TINE, masculine, feminine, consume, sleep, last. 4.
Okay, cool. Yeah, pretty close to us. Yeah, I thought he was our type twin, but yes. Okay, now I know.
Yeah. He's an INTP. Yeah, and for me, it is like I just, I tend to not think like whenever the femmes first started talking, I don't remember if you remember me processing this a lot, Melanie, but like I was processing a lot like my routines and like how neurotic I can get about my routines. And for one, that's clearly demon SI and me being like neurotic about a demon, which we can do. But it's like, for me, I think it like there's part of the 4 that ties in. It's like I can just lose things that much more, which again is sleep last, but it's like losing the mission, losing the drive, just I'm not even thinking about it because I'm like, what? We're all like sacks of skin with like bones and meat holding us up. Like, and that was like, that's something that I've that's been in my mind. I remember coming to that in undergrad, and I think it was me like not being able to deal with the fact that like I was in the real world and people are playing games, and I was like, that was my response. I'm like, we're all meat suits. Like, what are you guys talking about? And I'm sorry, that might be kind of gross. I realize it's kind of a weird demon SF thing.
Like the visuals are coming out when you say that.
But yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's so demon SF right there. And bye, Nathan. Thanks for coming by. Aw. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like I'm asking these questions like sleep processing my experience. So I apologize. Julie and I are the sleep lasts. We're like always processing in the moment. So that's why I'm asking these questions.
Hey, I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. Your demon sleep too. So.
And I just go along. It's fun.
Like, oh my god, you intuitives. Like what?
The whirlwind. Well, actually, that can bring us right to our questions. If you guys want to move on to that, yeah. I think we did that some good justice of just checking, and it looks like everyone's nodding. So
cool.
Felix, you good? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Holly, do you want to ask your first question? Do you remember it? Do you have it? Do you need me to do it?
I had to write it down because I was like, wait, what did I ask?
I'm going to find ours in my chat here.
Of course.
We went over these so long ago.
I know.
This was a long time in the making.
Yeah. So this question came off the back of like, I don't know, like a period of burnout that I went through. And I was like, I wonder if others kind of recharge in the same way. So a little bit of backstory, sorry for people who are not super concerned.
Thank you for your backstory. Please share.
I have to give the backstory. So I experienced a little bit of burnout, and I realized that I was doing too much play. And also as a DE, I'm kind of, I can do consume that's not sort of aligned with my DI, if that makes sense. So like consuming for others, not consuming for myself. And so for us, it's like a lot of sort of business related consume. And I found that I was doing a lot of consume that was not kind of restful or recharging. And so I was doing too much play and just not enough consume and sleep, and experienced a bit of burnout. I had to like do a reset and then actually start making time to consume things that I personally enjoy, not things that I think others need or that I need to do for business work stuff. Yeah. So the question that I have is, do you, as sleep lasts, use sleep to recharge, or do you use consume? I was just wondering if there is a difference for the info versus energy coin.
Okay. I've thought about this a lot. Can I go first, Melanie?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The answer is I use play.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But the interesting thing about having so much time is watching myself. Like, I do connect a little bit with the fact that I do need to occasionally, for how I kind of phrase it, but it feels a little similar to what you were saying for your F. For you, it's your FI. And I don't have the not allowed thing, but my TI does tend to get over focused on work, and I'll just want to consume more for that, and I'll want to analyze everything. But it is good for me to occasionally consume something SF like for instance, like I enjoy like there's like a glass blowing show, and they just came out with a new season on Netflix. Yeah. And I can't help it. I try to type to people a little bit, but I really try to turn my NT brain off as much as possible and just enjoy the SF of glass blowing and like what they're doing in the hot shop, and trying to actually like take in the sensory of like how they're spinning all those like cane and whatever else they're making. So, but does consume lead me to recharge? The answer is no. And my brain will like to tell myself that it does, but it doesn't, not in the sense of like resting my energy, but it can bring SF recharge in a way that's like invigorating and makes me feel more whole. But in order for me to actually recharge, it's like in order to sleep what I am. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Instead of being a crazy monkey head. Okay. It's like what I'm finding is I have to try to like break what I'm doing. It's like I have to close things out, and that's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I have to do, but I have to reach a milestone. And then when I reach a milestone, I have to like break it. And so I usually end up trying to go a different, it's like I have to move in this direction now. But it's like I'll try to do that and create like a bunch of breaks all at once so that there can almost be this like moment of quiet. It's like this crazy ass infodom like way around trying to create sleep, trying to create breaks for myself with play, but play that will cut off more of the things that I have open than will open more new things, if that makes sense.
Right. So is it like is it like you have to, is it kind of like you have to like close tabs? Like if your brain is a browser, you've got to like actually shut the tabs down?
Yes,
kind of
but
thing?
it's like yes, but I
It's
can't.
like a like you have to put the floodgates up for the dam. Am I making sense too? Like
Yes,
to,
Go ahead.
to turn on sleep, it really feels like you're fighting against something. Like it's a force that you have to fight against. For me too. Like from when you were just explaining that, like you're just like I have to close. Just this motion that you're making, it feels like
Yeah.
you have to force yourself. It is like you're like swimming upstream to get yourself to sleep. At least in my experience, it feels like that. Like the
Yeah.
motion seems like how it feels to sleep, which
Yes. Yeah, like a sensory example could be like, I need to go to sleep. Oh, I should go for a walk. You know, it's like, and I'm going to go spend energy. Yeah, but it's like walking. It's like when I go walk, it'll force things closed like in my mind. Cause I guess it's like NT at the top and it's like overgather at the top, right? Consume and play. So like my mind just gets overgathered. So I go for a walk, things will get deleted, start to shut down, and then I come home and then I'll do a little more. It's like it's through doing. It's like then I have to come home and be like, okay, what is the one thing I can do for this that will help me close that off? What's the one thing I can do for this? It's like I kind of have to run around doing all this crazy play energy to like close things, but there also has to be a break, like a walk or something where I go do something else as well. It's just this whole thing. And if I don't do those things, if I tell myself like, no, I can just stop, it doesn't quite work. I can just go sit on the couch. Like, no, that's a lie to myself because my brain will just be like,
That's similar to your experience, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's actually starting to make sense. No, and I have kind of the same, I guess, what you were saying about the force that you need to go against the current to do the sleep. For me, it's the opposite. Like the force that I'm constantly feeling is like an inward pull. So I have to force myself to actually do things, to go outward, especially if it's people and blast related. But then I experience very much kind of the open tabs or the open loops. I actually use the same wording for like all the things that I want to do, that I have to do. And if I don't do them, then it's constantly in the back of my mind. I'm sleep processing that. Okay, what do I still have to do here? Let me think about my script. Let me think about like what I have to do for work. Let me think about how I have to clean the house or whatever. And I need to force myself to actually take action and do these things and finish the task. Otherwise, they're constantly in the back of my mind. What can help is to have like to-do lists, to like put it on a list where I know I'll find it again. Although what helps the most is to reduce and organize everything on the front end, to really reduce the number of projects that I'm working on at a given time, let's say in 1 week. And that just creates sort of calm. But then also what you were saying, physical exercise, especially walking, bike rides, without listening to something else, which I have to force myself to do. I love listening to podcasts while I walk or while I ride to work. And that just puts more information in my mind, that puts more loops in my mind. It's like, oh, it's interesting what the guy says about the book he wrote. I need to read that. That fits in with the other things I'm working on. This is amazing.
Yep.
And this creates constant overload. And what really helps, reducing everything on the front end and then having now a blaster routine of actually writing something, actually producing stuff. and getting stuff out of my head and properly organizing it physically, not just thinking about it again and again. That helps a lot.
Yes.
But then the consume can be very much still recharging from me, because it's just also fun and enjoyable. As long as I don't overdo it, as long as I bring balance to it, which can be very tough.
Yes. No, and I agree. It's nice you can cut off on the front end. I have to, it is like, you brought up the good balance between the consume and blast. It's like, I do have to take that and do something with it. And then I have to do it at the end, all that weird play stuff to like then chop. That's like my sleep, getting rid of it. You do that on the front end, which is nice. I have to be like, no, gotta chop it off so I can actually like get restful sleep tonight instead of,
Oh, I have often difficulty falling asleep. It's better now. It was really, really bad while I was a teenager, but still, every couple of nights, it takes me a couple of hours to fall asleep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, me too. Yeah, lead consume. It's and let's see here. Zaki shared. He said, "Found not having my earphones in when I'm walking allows me to process." Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I feel that too. I know, and right. But how our consume minds can trick us. Be like, no, but this will help you sleep. Like, it's restful. Like, it'll just come up with some new reason. and I wanted to, Lily was giving me shout outs. Thanks. Thank you, Lily.
The one above the last one too, the mini sleep breaks that that's really good. I want to like take this from this live stream and just like put it on my wall or something. Like, yes, mini sleep breaks, so that you could like, it's just like these little things you can do to start like processing.
Yes, no, exactly. Yeah, thank you for bringing that one up and calling that out. That is exactly it. Doing all those little chops to actually get.
Yeah, you just like putting a little stop to the crazy consume.
One sleep thing. Yeah, it's it's like everybody has trouble with sleep. It feels like it's like we all have trouble with all of them. The difference with the sleep last is like we'll just be recognizing it much later. We'll still be going. We'll be drained, past drained, past drained, right? It's like still going, but less and less as we get older. But it's so interesting talking about sleep in the community with people, because it is like when I talk about it, I do hear a lot. It's like, well, I get drained too. And I'm just like, I know we can all push too far, but it is like when you just don't even know and you're just adding on, like, okay, that's part of it. That's something I wanted to bring up too with this, if I can, can I? So like this week, so I just started my channel and I'm like working so hard on the sleep and I appreciate it. Look at my flex. So like so awkward. Okay. So like I started that and I'm like, okay, this is new. I'm trying to like realize the sleep. This is going to be a lot that I'm taking on. But like we were talking about with our mind tricking us, there were things that came up with preschool and I had to take my son out. And so I'm going to try homeschooling him. And it's like my mind didn't catch that one, like that I was taking that on as well, right? I think because I was so distracted over here and being like, no, I have this new thing and I'm being so good and I'm not overdoing it and da-da-da. And then it's like, anyway, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go consume about homeschooling and like not do anything about it and just overgather. Like, did not realize it had a huge tidal wave this week because it's like, I just didn't even see that extra thing. Do you know? Yeah. So like, I'm curious, you guys with sleep, like, do you think you would be catching that? Like,
yeah. I like even with sleep third, I still catch those kinds of things. I'm like, we've already got this going on and this going on. And it's like with the play, I still want to take on these extra things, but I'm still aware of what that might mean. Like, it's like I'm still considering it. Like I'm still like, okay, if I do take this on, then I'm going to be tired or it might be overwhelming. And so then I still, I don't know.
You're conscious.
Historically, I would still go with the play and then pay for it later. But like as I'm getting older, I'm like, okay, no, I actually need to say no. And I need to learn to say no. And that's what's made it easier.
Play above sleep still. Yeah. but you're
Yeah.
seeing it. So okay,
Yeah.
that's nice to know that. And Felix, I have a question for you for something you said too. So you said you've had trouble sleeping. For sleep above plays, is it because like you're not expending enough energy?
Probably. Probably because I'm not blasting enough or not expending enough energy. I think I'm pretty good about expending physical energy and just moving.
Yeah.
It's I've noticed that with other people who are just consume, play, sleep, that they move around much more than I do. Like I'm kind of more deliberate in my movements. But then once I decided to do something physically, I can just go on for a long time. That's fine. I think it's really the blasting that's lacking. Because when I can't sleep, I'm just having these thought loops that I'm thinking about something again and again and again, something with our business or with something I learned or want to write about or with something that's going on at work. And I just can't fully relax because I'm caught in these thought loops, like being caught in the net, and I can't get out. And it's very, very hard to power down my brain so I can actually relax and fall asleep. But then I guess properly processing it, talking about it, writing about it, controlling myself on the front end again was just very, very hard, I think, because of the overconsume, because of the OE, but I think also because of generalize, because that I noticed that in the last year, that it also makes me open up a lot of tabs in my mind. And the control on the front end is something that I had to learn as well, and using the sleep that way, because maybe I feel the pain more quickly of having all these tabs open, but it's still something that I consciously had to choose not to do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really insightful. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if that has something to do with the social needs too. That there, but like it's like slightly a little bit more like sleep demon because your eyes are like on the things that you're consuming and how to maybe like it seems like it's connected to blast in a way, even if you're not blasting, so that maybe your sleep isn't as like all consuming. Anyway, it makes sense to me in my crazy.
Yeah. No, that's how I see it too, that both generalize and the friends coin, however you might call it, are extroverted coins, so they go out there. So I have this underlying need that I need to do that, at least on a long-term basis, but on the short term, I'm using the animals I have, and then I'm lacking the extroverted animals. I use them less, or I fight to do them. And then it feels like this big incongruence in my mind, this big contradiction that one part of me feels like, okay, I need to put more stuff out there, I need to be more active. But then the other part goes like, I can't, I don't have the energy. It's like, oh no, the consume and sleep seem more pressing right now in the short term. And then it feels like this unfulfilled need that creates all these loops in my head.
Yeah,
thank goodness for ops, right? Shout out. Thank goodness we have ops to put labels on this.
Put a language to it. Yeah. Lily said info versus energy. Yeah. There's that. Yeah, info, not the sleep last thing. What info is sleep and play last, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And Zaki was saying he understands that too, because both all you guys are both TI consume sleep, right? So okay.
I was thinking that consume is what helps me on the surface relax. It's like that is what helps me. What was the exact question that you asked originally? I'm looking at your question. Yeah, sleeper consume recharge.
Yeah,
it's consume for me too.
Okay.
And it's bad because it's just my savior. It's like it's just the double masculine. It always takes control. And I think like the sensory of it right now is just like I'll be doing the bajillion things, sleep last, like controlling my life, and then like to calm down, I'll go and consume more like skincare stuff would be like a specific sensory like ingredients, because that's one of my generalist jobs right now is doing like skincare stuff. So I'll be like on Amazon looking up every ingredient of everything for and going down the rabbit hole of this like specific sensory, and it's just like helping me power down because it has nothing to do with anything. It's just like a topic that you can go on forever. And really I need to be like dealing with my normal life and doing the ST things like the SITI sleep processing, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to go here and look up shit that I like. Kind of like you were saying with the podcast or whatever. It's just like I'll avoid, but just going down the rabbit hole of things I happen to find interesting. So yeah. Might be healthy or not, but like that's what I'm always doing to recharge, is just consuming like crazy.
Yeah.
You have the SF, so that could be more fulfilling in that sense.
It's funny that it's using the NT, the double masculine NT, to about like the SF stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I'm using that NT to just be like, yay, my hobbies are SF. So I'm gonna look up all this like cosmetic chemistry stuff. It's like really weird, but I don't know. It's relaxing, I guess, or recharging. I'm just like, yay, I'm a person again. Another day of not dealing with any of my anything really going on.
Well, and in that, right, and I think we've talked about this a little bit in Femmes, but I guess I want to give that a shout out too. It's like, you do also have to give your saviors their due, because you are such a busybody, Melanie, and you are running around doing a million things. So too, like, you might be running around doing so much SF stuff that you actually really do need that NT consume. Because if I don't do my savior, there will just be a void, and that will create its own sort of like where my NT consume will just be like, I'm getting my due now, and like just, and just cause a huge tidal wave in that way. So it's like, yeah.
Shit. I didn't even think about it that way. Thanks for making me feel better, though. I thought it was avoidance issues, but now it makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's always good to checks and balances, and yeah, exactly. There's so many facets to it, right?
True. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to add anything about that? I think we did good. All right. Let's move on to Melanie's question, shall we?
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Yes. I'm looking at my list right now. I have it over here. I guess, my questions are about darkness. I'm looking at both of them and seeing which one I want to ask. Which functions or coins do you associate with the darkest part of yourself? And it's open to your interpretation of what you think darkest part is. So yeah, we'll go with that one. My other question was, what are your thoughts on being fake with the tribe? But I think I like the because it's such a specific question. It's so funny. I feel like that, because that one is more like of a straightforward sensory question, sort of. It seems like more abstract to me. But anyway, whichever one of those you want to answer.
We could absolutely do both.
Yeah.
To me, they feel very much connected, actually, at least for me personally.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So what would you consider the darkest parts of yourself, if you want to talk about functions or coins that you associate with that? And or how do you feel about being fake with the tribe?
Yeah, should I just start?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, in general, I don't think that's surprising at all. Like, all the parts that are most imbalanced, I experience as my darkest parts. And we already talked about social type, and I think Melanie and we talked about like how darkness relates to social type when we had our call a couple of months ago. And that's definitely a part, maybe not the darkest, but kind of not knowing what path you want to go on led me to a lot of darkness. So because right now I have like a normal day job as a data engineer in New Zealand, but we want to build our own business on the side, and well, we're working on that with YouTube, and we put a lot of time in it. But that's a very new kind of realization for me, that I want to do that. And because in the past I went down and tried to become an academic, tried to become a scientist. And because that's kind of all I knew, that, if you're good at school, then you go to university and you learn something, and then you become an employee somewhere. And that's really all I kind of had in my mind as an option. Because, of course, I knew there were businessmen, but I didn't know how to become one or how to start your own business. I didn't have role models or information to that from anyone, not from people in my life, not from high school. And so I went on this path of becoming a scientist. And I wanted that for such a long time, since I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. And I loved studying a lot. maybe also because of the collaborative way I learned, and like how I pushed myself in a way that was actually good for my saviors, I guess. We could use my saviors a lot, but actually properly cultivate and sharpen them. But then I was actually a proper researcher, and I hated it. I felt so unmotivated, and I didn't know why. And I felt like trapped in a hole. Like, I thought I wanted this for more than 10 years. Why do I hate this now? Like, what is so unmotivating about it? And I thought I had reached my dream, but no, I feel trapped in a cul-de-sac, and I don't know how to get out, and I don't know what to do. And now with the social types in mind, I can realize, okay, this is kind of a number 3 route.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I see that I'm a generalist, because like if I want to specialize in somewhere, yes, I can. Like I can study one topic for years and be successful in that. So the tribe says, yeah, you get a good grade, go on, we want to give you a job. But then I want to skip away from it. Like I can't go this path for 20, 30 more years. Like it just felt just too narrow and unmotivating. And that put me in a very dark spot, and a very lost spot. And I think that's like one part maybe where there's a lot of darkness in general. If you don't know your path that fits best for you or for your social type. And that's how I can really see the social types, not as something you do in the moment, but there's a path you walk long term. And if you choose the wrong path, that at some point I think you will feel miserable and you will feel stuck. And then the other things that relate to darkness, I think, are really my OP type, the imbalance of consume and blast, and TI and FE, which are, to me, the tools I need to use to walk that path. With the missing blast, you just get stuck. It's like, okay, what do I do here? Where do I start? How can I become good at anything? Like I want to walk this path, but I don't know where to start, or like I have no experience, and you have this idea that you need to be good to start out, or that you want to be so perfectionistic with everything you do that you don't do anything at all. That's what I see from the blast lasts. And then I think really the darkest part of myself where I experience kind of the most pain in the moment is the imbalance between TI and FE, where I just feel the most fear, feel the most paralyzed, where I don't know how to handle the tribe sometimes, and where I have this really dark default view on the tribe where there's a lot of anger in me, a lot of resentment. And I always feel like when people demonize their demons, they're half right. Kind of, because in a sense, like the tribe can be dangerous, right? There are really bad assholes out there in the tribe. And you need to have your filters up, and you need to be careful about like who you trust and who you want to work with and who you give your time and who you listen to. That's all true. But I'm completely imbalanced on that view, and I'm way too hesitant, way too sensitive to anything bad that might come up or come back from the tribe. And it really holds me back. And to see, oh, this is actually something that's coming from me. There's some truth to that. It's a protective mechanism that makes sense, but I'm just overly sensitive. It's just out of whack. And it's my responsibility to kind of correct that, to be more open, to be able to kind of take the pain and the messiness that comes with dealing with the tribe and with putting yourself out there. And I really need to deal with that darkness in order to kind of progress on the path that I want to go on. So kind of to answer your question briefly, it's, well, which is now too late. But the darkest part, I would say, is the imbalance between TI and FE for me. That just brings me the most pain and holds me back the most, and just represents the biggest struggle. But I also know, now I know that, and the better I get a handle on that, the better I might get hit by that, but the more I don't allow it to get me stuck, the better my life will go.
Yeah.
The awareness of it is super helpful. It's just like you have the light on the monster there. So that's good.
Yeah. You don't ignore the dashboard anymore.
Yeah.
And do you think there was a bit of demon flex in there? Because I feel like I really jived with, like, I'm really processing the whole, like, exactly with the demon tribe, like the who can you trust, who can you not, that kind of game. And that feels much more like a flexor game, do you think?
I guess that's related, and it might be another area where it's hard to separate the flex from the DI because they're kind of so close together in a way. But yeah, with the flex, I would say like to me, flex means that you have your mission that you sign your name on to, and you execute and you actually follow the mission. Don't just talk about it. And yeah, then that's important that you kind of like intentionally choose that, but then also follow through. And if you're afraid to kind of to deal with people or to deal with chaos and control, you won't follow through, and then you will get stuck.
Okay, I guess yeah, maybe it was the control, because I'm trying to parse that, because like now that I just started my like show or whatever, like I'm also like processing that, and I thought part of that was my demon flex, but you're right, I guess it is that demon blast as well, where like you talked about the possibility of people being able to come in and control you, like I'm sorry, like to jump in again, like without going too much into it, but like in my ops video, so like from grad school, a big thing that was a huge struggle for me that took me years, honestly, to get out of was, for me, why grad school was hard was my boss was abusive. Like she was punished for it, like she did it to other people. But it does mix in how I reacted. Like I completely had like a mental breakdown from it, where I felt powerless as well. Like I just felt like there was no one I could reach out to, nothing I could do. And like I guess it's like all of them, because it feels like there is this weird, as a 4, I'm like, there is a weird thing where it is like the ones are also in control, and it feels it from like my little monkey brain, it can feel like I'm powerless against the ones who are doing the game. But I'm like trying to uncouple that from it also being the blast. So like
it is super interesting that you mentioned it from the 4's perspective too, like with that part was noticeable to you, because I could see the number 2 like the social kind of coloring what you said, Felix, like the path, like being trapped in a path, obviously, like that's something that's like the path isn't real, like it's like it's not real, you know, they like I feel like Shannon, like in general, they're like, yeah, the job isn't real for number 2s or whatever, and I'm like, that's very relatable. But like, yeah, it's being trapped in the path, and then the tribe, which is the decider thing. But it seems a lot like I can, like, you not being able to blast, like it's like you're like trapped in 2 ways, but it seems like part of the number 4 thing, where it's like you want to be with the tribe, or like have the collaboration or / friends coin, and then like you can't, or like, and then also like your perspective is limited because you're like, oh, I have to pick this path, like aren't we supposed to do this? So I don't know, it seems like the social is a big part of it from what I see.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of contradictions. Like Julie mentioned the flex, and I think at first I really need to choose my own path and like choose my own mission for myself. But then in order to be, I think, really effective, me personally, I need to find the right collaborators, the right tribe around me. But in order for me to do that, I need to kind of venture out and get to know people and actually put myself out there to see, okay, like let me look at the full spectrum of people here. Like I don't know, and see, okay, who do I like? Who can I work with? Who aligns with me naturally? And then it's also about developing the skills, which just I had to do in my 20s. Like, how do I actually talk to people so they like you? How do I have a nice back and forth? How do you communicate your ideas in a way that people are open to listen to them? How do you listen to other people and pay attention to them? Right? It's really a skill that you have to develop to find the right collaborators and to then suddenly make the tribe seem very different once you can interact with the tribe more effectively. Then kind of like you see that so much of your fears were really just in your head, and you had a completely skewed view of the tribe. That was bullshit.
Yeah, the freaking spider thing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What do you think, Holly? Curious as a non-decider, like what?
No, she's a decider.
Actually, I just said that. I was like, just kidding.
Non-DI.
Yeah.
D.
Maybe if DI/DE is different in that regard.
In what, sorry?
Well, just the you know, like the question for you, how it differs with, I actually was curious with the decider thing, but then I was like, oh wait, we're all deciders here. So
Yeah.
I guess we all feel that pain.
Yeah, I think we do. Like I know that for me, the biggest imbalance is obviously between the DI and the DE, and this is kind of what my EJ video was about.
Oh,
and it also ties into like being fake with the tribe, but then I think also the flex too. So I can probably tie it all together with social types and being fake. But as someone who's lead TE, I have often found like throughout my life, there's been like a consistent pattern of like trying to make myself more palatable for others, which means that I'm constantly sort of suppressing what I think, what I need, like pretending I don't have needs and wants and, you know, whatever. But then, of course, that does come back to bite me because you can't suppress those needs, because if you do, they do eventually come up, and they come out in very ugly ways. And so I think that, like, in terms of being fake with the tribe, a lot of it is that just trying to make myself likable, like trying to, I don't know, be not trying to be friendly because I am friendly, but like, you know, jumping to what other people want, constantly making sure that like what other people need, I can make that happen in kind of a TE sense. But then ignoring my own needs in the process. And that has just been a consistent pattern throughout my life, like especially with every relationship that I've had, is that they eventually blow up because it's me going, oh, my needs are never met and I'm never happy and it's you're the problem. I'll see you later. And then I just last leave because, you know, it's too hard to explain what you need or what.
Yeah, it's like too late maybe at that point or something.
Yeah. So that's kind of what the EJ video was centered around, was a lot of like my personal experience with just not voicing your needs and desires. And then just the negative impacts that it does have on the people in your life, and how if you actually want to have good relationships with people, you need to kind of express what you want. But you also need to learn to do it calmly, like not just kind of shout at someone.
And we're all thinkers too. It is really hard to expose that, the feeling.
It is.
It's really insanely hard. So
yeah, especially when like what you want is different to what everyone else wants. Like that is the hardest. We have this, you know, quite a lot at work. Me being Demon SI, maybe you guys can relate, maybe you can't, but like I'm very particular around like work environment and how the environment is set up, because I'm very easily distracted.
Yes,
like so easily distracted. It's really hard for me to get anything done. And our work, our office is open plan, and there's just a whole group of people in like one room, and there's just a lot of noise and people and distractions. And we recently put in a working from home policy, which was great. And there was an option to, as a team, we could come into the office one day a week and sit together as a team. That would be our team day. And then if you wanted to come into the office other days, you could, but it was kind of up to you. And a lot of the people in our team are extroverts, and they like to work in the office. They like to be with people. And my preference is to be at home, away from people where I'm not distracted. And I had the hardest time saying, hey, my preference is to be at home. Like, I'll come in the one day a week, but can I work from home the rest of the week, the other 4 days? And it was really hard for me to say that. And I did. And my boss was like, sure, do whatever you want. But like, I was stressing about it for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
It's so that it sounds like, it's part of the DE, whereas like, and then as FE, just like you were saying, that part of making yourself palatable with the double activated FE, I feel like that's a reality too on our end. But it's interesting, that's because you are a DE savior, that is constantly in your consciousness, or that you're aware of it.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's also like a decider thing. Like you just you want people to like you. You don't want people to hate on you in any way. So you're like, okay, how do I make people like me? Yes. Like, what do I have to do to just make sure everyone's got a good impression of me?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like we're aware of it constantly, but not aware of it. It's just running. It's like the program running.
Yeah.
background. Wow.
And then I guess it does kind of lead you to be fake with others to an extent. Yeah. Because you're not really saying what you think if you know that it could make someone mad at you.
Yeah. And it's your masculine tribe or your masculine.
Masculine.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, it's just always a thing as a decider. Wow.
Yeah.
We're so complex.
But masculinity.
Yeah.
Masculine anti.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. How do you feel?
Is that part of your darkness? Is that sorry, I was gonna bring it back. If you have more questions, you can go ahead.
No, I was saying the fakeness thing, is that part of your darkness? Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because like I kind of wonder whether a lot of deciders, but also maybe a lot of like DI last have this thing of like, I'm not allowed to be myself. I have to pretend to be what everyone else needs me to be. And so you're constantly like, ugh, why can't I just be myself? Like, why am I not allowed to? Like, would it be the worst thing if I did? Like, what would happen? Would people not like me? Would people not want to hang out with me? It's a ridiculous thing to process. I'm fully aware of that.
No. I understand.
I'm always curious how you, in your experience, how you decide what the tribe wants from you. Is it like, do people say, like, is it like a definite, or is it just something that you're like, is it
tracking?
Is it like, how do you know what they are expecting? I know this is just like, I feel like as massive PI, like blockhead.
It's a good question. And I honestly don't trust my own perspective, because like what I take from it is like kind of hugely influenced by how I see myself, which I know is not accurate. So like I kind of have this thing around like, if I be myself, no one's going to like me because I'm too weird. But then like people who do know me are like, you're not weird at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't trust my own assessment of what other people want.
Yeah.
Or what they need. Yeah.
But
I guess you just kind of have to go by reactions. Like I think it was Reggie who posted kind of a sad meme on his Facebook recently, and it was like people are like, you should just be yourself, and then the next line is like, no, not like that. Something like that. And I was like, oh no.
Oh my gosh, that is how the demons feel. Okay, like, right? That is, because I feel like that with flex, which is how I can almost kind of relate. Like, it is different. It like maps differently than what you're saying, but that it is in a way a demon DI, and it does feel like that. It's like, you should stand up for yourself more, and I'm like, girl, and they're like, whoa, no, bad,
Yeah. Because it does feel all or nothing with you demons. You're like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go all in on my DI or my DE, and everyone's like, what? That's really weird. You're doing it in a weird way.
It's so true. Until you learn it. I'm really, really trying to build that. Like, Felix and I talked about James Wedmore. We both took a little class from him, and he had this side podcast with it, and trying to process like changing my language in order to change the behavior, which he didn't go into a lot, but I guess that's one of the things that stuck with me is like I'm trying not to use the word flex swing, for instance, anymore, because even when I use that, it's me telling myself that it's a swing, and instead I'm like, no, I'm practicing my flex. I'm working on my flex, right? It's like, it's okay. I'm training my flex. I don't have that many reps in on it. And it's amazing how like thinking about it like that can help so much. And the more I see the swing language, it just makes me feel like doing my flex is inappropriate and squashes it down that much further. And it's not to say like that's bad, never say that, because it is like sometimes it is like that person's doing a swing, but just like especially with myself to have a bit more grace for getting my reps.
Yeah, you really do. Like, I mean, with whatever you've got at the bottom, like it's a work in progress and you need to exercise it. You need to like do it, you know, in small increments, and you need to practice it. And like, you're only going to get better through practice, but you also can't be hard on yourself when it's awkward or uncomfortable or like not what you're expecting.
Yes. So true. So true. Yeah. Did you want to share your thoughts, Melanie, on fake and darkness?
I feel like mine are similar to you guys in that it has to do with the decider thing. I think it's my masculine TI. Like I love that the most, and that's the most me, but it makes me blind to the tribe. And then like it's just that like being shocked if the tribe doesn't receive me well, but then I'm always just like my punchy masculine TI is like all consuming. And it can make me super selfish. Like, you know, I don't think I'm like the worst ever, especially with double activated FE. Like we always have our eyes somewhat on the tribe, or I do, especially with the generalized thing. But like, it's like, it has to do with just the tribe. It's like the blindness, but I'm always aware of them. So just that is like, just always has me in its grip, like the decider thing, I feel like. And then like sleep last to a point is pretty dark because there's just so many times when I'm like, oh, I'm not well, and didn't realize it until it's like too far away. Like, for example, I'm like a little sick right now. I'll just leave it at that. And I didn't even notice until I was like fully in it. And I'm like, what? Just like this little simple things like that. So that's like the day-to-day darkness is sleep last of just like, oh my God, I have a body. Like how weird. I have to take care of it. But like, yeah. Mostly in like what I find really jarring is like this masculine TI, just full force, blinders on, like bull in a china shop, just like banging into everything. And then like, oh, the tribe exists. Like that jarring realization is really dark for me, I feel like. The decider thing.
Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, self-compassion is important.
Yes.
It was just my little positive FE.
And then all of our feminine Fs move. Yes, even you, Felix. I saw it.
What do you think dark about yourself, Julie?
Yeah, I mean, in my... Sorry,
it's totally skimmed. Do you guys have Halloween? Because it's spooky season pretty much over here. Halloween.
We don't really celebrate Halloween as hugely as in the US, which is really sad. And also it's kind of well, it's like late spring for us when it's Halloween.
Oh yeah.
So it's a bit weird.
Just a random skin. But anyway.
That's right.
Sorry.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I was asking Julie what you find dark because it's spooky season, hence the Halloween question.
Right. We're entering fall. Yeah, I mean, in my very sleepless way, I kind of sprinkled it as I was listening to you guys. I definitely have the masculine TI. I mean, I really jived with what you guys said about being tribe unaware. To some degree, being a 4, I feel like mostly with the tribe, it's like, but I can move with them. But, well, for one, masculine TI gatekeeper, it's like everything. It's like, is this good? Is this bad? And then I'm around myself all the time. So everything I'm doing, I'm like, is this good? Is this bad? How often I can be labeling myself as bad is also happening. And just this really internal bad cycle can occur with that. But that's something that since TI is at the top, I guess I think I perhaps did process that quite a bit younger. It's like there's this quote from Fight Club, and this can be kind of awkward, to say, but it's like how I see my masculine TI and handling that. But there's a quote where Edward Norton asked Brad Pitt, he says, like, are you suicidal? And Brad Pitt says, only in the morning. And like, that's how my masculine TI feels. It's like when I wake up and it's like everything else is kind of like, I'm just mostly in that masculine TI. It's just like, this is bad. And like, it's like everything is in this slow movie and like, and I hate it, but knowing that I can move past it, right? This too shall pass. Let's just quote all the movies. Like, I know that I just have to push past that. And it is kind of, anytime I have my bare TI, I just have to like, sometimes I have to buckle down and be like, this will pass. This is just my TI. And I know that. So I get a lot of darkness from that. And it's like the demon flex as well, which I'm processing so much. So I don't know how much I'm even able to share, but just sometimes with the demon tribe, it's like I can just get this feeling of powerlessness, which is something I really work against, where I feel like everyone else has the power and I have none, and I am just here to serve and be pulled. And honestly, it kind of freaks me out. And just having this huge tidal wave this week, honestly, that was coming up quite a bit. Just, I don't know, just wanting to stick to that. But I'm so thankful again to Dave and Shan and Ops for seeing that and knowing it. And because I do believe that you can grow all of your social functions and move through it. And someday I'll be able to talk about my flex just like I did my masculine TI. Maybe I'll even have a movie quote for it. But yeah, so that's part of my I don't know when Zachy said this, but mwah, Zachy. Thank you.
That's now.
Yeah, when you were talking about the powerlessness, I think.
The language to talk about your experience and struggle and all that is really helpful for moving through it and then making changes. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for making me process that. Sorry, go ahead, Felix.
That brought me to a question that Shan raised, I think not in the last live show, but in one before that. How do you guys feel about lying to the tribe? When do you do it? Why? When do you think it's okay?
I don't do it enough. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, I should lie. And I lie like twice a year. And it's like a problem because it's like, sometimes you do need to, I think. Like, that is like something I am definitely processing, like, too. I'm just like, man, sometimes you just to protect yourself, right? Yeah. Like, it can just, anyway, but so please go on. That's my little, I want to hear other people.
It's unavailable to me. Like, I'm just like, because it's like maybe taboo or not taboo. Like, I'm just like, oh, I don't know. When do I lie? I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know. Wow. It's really like,
you're like, do I?
Because I'm trying to think of like, I mean, I'm sure there's got to be little white lies or whatever they're called, but I can't, and then I'm just like, am I like fooling myself and I do it more than I think?
Sorry.
We all knew it anyway.
Dave definitely does. He talks about it a lot. sorry, Melanie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe is it a tea thing to have it more access to it, to just be like it easy? Like, it feels like it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. Or maybe I just don't want to talk about it because it's weird. I don't know. It must be like stupid things. Like if my boss is like sassing me for something dumb, I'll be like, yeah, well, I knew that. Or I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. I don't know. Maybe I'm lying now. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't. I think that sometimes you have to lie. Like, sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and it's either to like protect yourself or to protect someone else. I know that I have a hard time with lying. So instead, what I do, if it's something that I know is not, like, it's not necessary to share or not necessary to say, but I also don't want to not tell the truth, then I just don't share what I'm thinking about it. Like if someone were to outright ask me, and it really depends on what it is, then I might avoid answering the question and say something else instead. Or I will sort of say what I actually think if it's the opposite to what the other person's expecting. But yeah, I think it's really situationally dependent, and not comfortable lying.
Yeah, because I think Dave talks about it quite a bit, right? And he's NIFI, and he's also a double decider. Like, I feel like he has a lot of coins stacked up for it, right? It's like he's NF sleep, right? So it's like sleep is avoidant, and then ST, like, no, and then double deciding, and like masculine, perhaps the masculine FI, like, don't know about that, but right, it's like somewhere between is probably the answer, just like with anything, right? It's like there are times you need to, but there are times you need to like also make sure you're being open. Yeah.
And it kind of feels like, unless the other person is playing lawyer and they're directly saying, did you do this, yes or no? Yeah. If you don't want to answer it because you don't think that the answer is going to benefit the person, or I don't know, whatever reason you might have, then you might kind of answer it differently, or like not give them a straight answer. So you're not lying, but you're just not
skirting around
the whole truth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, yeah, I should have a decider moment here too. I love Dave. I know he only has the best intentions for everyone. He's like, if he watches this, he'd probably be like, whatever. I double decided that. Like as soon as you started saying it.
Now it's on record. Julie thinks Dave is a natural born liar.
Damn it! The trouble I got. See, I can't lie. The shit I say.
Like a double decider that it would be easier to lie. Like, sorry, I don't know. I don't know why. That it would be just like less. Like you feel so much pressure from it. And that's like, I guess it's super judgy, but it feels like it would be easier to move through it. I don't know.
Well, and then we don't have the sleep because Holly said what she can use is the sleep, right? She can not say things. So then we don't have that. So I am curious for Felix's perspective. Like, how are you with lying, Felix, since you have sleep a little higher than me and Melanie?
Yeah, so Shan's recommendation was that you have to lie sometimes, and sometimes it's the right thing to do. Which goes against like stuff that other people recommend, like Dr. K or Jordan Peterson, who have the very strict stance of like never lie, because if you don't lie, then kind of you essentially live in the best possible world, because everything else would be worse. That's kind of what Dr. Peterson talks about it. Dr. K says that not lying is essentially a mindfulness practice, because you need to be very careful about your words. And it's also a practice of letting go, because you're just honest and you let go of controlling the situation through lying and maybe avoiding pain. But then I think sometimes it is okay to lie, because sometimes it's just counterproductive and creates more disconnection in a way. Because like when we were talking about the loss of control, Julie, with the tribe, like I don't really feel that, but I feel this tension between TI and FE, that I don't want to lie, that I want to say what's on my mind, but I have this insecurity with, okay, like, am I being appropriate right now? Is how I'm expressing myself palatable right now? And when I was younger, I had like no awareness of that. And then it caused me enough pain, this lack of awareness, to kind of develop that. But then right now, there's still an insecurity of, like, am I doing okay? Am I saying the right words? Am I being too honest? Am I being too brash in a way, or too blunt? And like I'm processing that stuff a lot. But I think sometimes lying, especially if you are a probably savior, masculine thinker, can be just a very kind of unconscious, actually, default reaction. That you just want to argue with someone because they're wrong, but that actually creates more discord, that it creates a lot of pain in the other person. And you might be completely correct, because let's say you are at work and someone does something stupid, or like someone has a delusional perspective about like what they're actually doing and what they're saying they're doing, and you want to call them out on the bullshit. Sometimes that's completely counterproductive, right? That you create actually just more pain, and the person digs their heels in more deeply. And I think if you're very conscious about it, then lying can be the right thing in terms of like, don't directly contradict like someone's perspective, although that's what you're thinking you want to do that so badly right now. But this actually creates this connection, and the other person won't let you in, right? That you will have actually less influence on them. Instead, if you kind of not agree with them, but like Chris Voss frames it as acknowledging the other person's perspective, as kind of summarizing their perspective to them, so they get the feeling that you get them, that you get what their perspective is and what they're thinking. And this actually helps them lower down their defenses, which is not necessarily lying, but it's definitely not saying the whole truth and not being open and honest. But it might be the right tool at that time if you're using it consciously to create calmer states and more connection overall between you and other people. So that's how I'm thinking about it right now.
Yeah, no, and that was good too. And around whenever you started saying that, Zachy was saying something similar. So it's really good that you both are seeing that with your sleep higher. I feel like you brought in the NIFE with also like talking about influencing the situation, whereas he focused a little maybe on the SI with, he said how the truth is delivered, right? Like presentation is much more SI language, even though we're all doing all of it, right? Like we definitely care to influence as well. So
yeah, I think how the truth is delivered is important, also when the truth is delivered. Because if someone is in a bad, fucked up state, the truth won't do them any good right now, and lying actually might, so they calm the fuck down. And then a bit later, the truth might be more helpful.
Is it like the validating their argument, or it's like lying completely? Because I love right now so much that you said that like validating someone's argument, even if you're just like fuck you, or you didn't say that. like validating them will definitely unlock their like whatever, doubling down on their argument. And like you said, it's like the Chris Voss, like the negotiating tactics, and it's also in relationship counseling too. John Gottman is, he is like a famous relationship counselor, whatever. He has that same thing, that it's like, even if you and your partner are fighting and it's just like, you cannot, like, you're at a whatever crossroads, you just need to like repeat back, like you just said, like what they're feeling, and then just listen to you. It feels like that's lying, because you're just like, God, you're a moron. But is it validating their argument, or is that lying?
It's I mean, so I guess I would frame it as like not lying, because you're not saying I agree.
You're
like
agreeing,
you're not letting the person know that you agree with them.
You're just not like the truth of like, you're a moron.
Yeah, exactly. So and I feel like that's kind of what I try to do a lot of the time. If I don't agree, I don't outright disagree with them, but I also don't agree with them. But I don't kind of say I think you're wrong, because obviously that's going to be counterproductive to the conversation. Totally. So and I don't see that as lying. But if someone were to kind of directly say, do you agree with me or not, that's when I would get stuck.
Yeah, maybe for context for those who don't know, so Chris Voss is a former FBI negotiator who is typed in one of the previous classes, and he is a double decider with Savior Feminine FE, so probably also a type who has an easier time with lying. But he clearly states he clearly doesn't recommend to lie. Like, he uses the word acknowledge, which I really like, which I would say is different from agreeing. It's different from validating. It's more about effectively communicating to the other person that you understand where they're coming from. It's not agreeing with them, it's not validating them, not saying that it's good where they're coming from, but just saying I understand, like I see you, but communicating that in a more kind of less obvious way, and that gives you an in a way.
Yeah, and I agree.
The customer's always right.
Right. Yeah, David said the customer is always right.
It's so infuriating for the thing. Well, I don't know if it's all thinkers, but just for like the masculine TI at the top, it's just like, no, they're not.
Oh yeah, you're like, the customer could be an idiot, complete idiot.
Because it's a moron.
Yeah.
No, but I think you guys said it well. But emotions are always valid, and that is right.
Can be
That's kind of
valid.
how it's framed in my mind, but yeah, that's what I see. Okay, I think you guys hit that one really well. Can we, Melanie, how are you doing?
I'm gonna jump off in about 10 minutes.
Okay. I have my question, so I will ask you guys it, and then we could probably call it after this. I hear my kids. That's part of why my headphones are on, so I should probably get going too. Hold on with the kiddos.
And by the way, Julie, since you put your headphones on, there's more distortion coming in.
Oh,
could you mute yourself while you're not talking? Then it should be fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I should be muting my microphone?
But you sound super clear when you're talking, though. But just, when you're not, it's like a little off.
And like stuff comes in when you're typing or doing whatever.
I'm really, man.
Oh,
yeah, I have can you hear this? I'm the worst fidgeter. I'm so sorry, everyone.
It's fine. Just mute yourself while you're not talking.
We can't do everything.
I know, and thank you for telling me no, because that's actually I've ruined footage for myself, doing stupid shit like that too. So okay, thank you so much. I'm working to get better on that. Okay. So let's see if we can talk about this a little bit in 10 minutes, so we can all get going. So my question was about flex, and I said I'm in some growing pains regarding moving past flex's swing, and I'm curious to hear about you guys learning about flex, all of you, because you have flex either second or third, and no matter what, we learn about how to use all of our functions, even if they're saviors or demons, right? To be honest, as we go on our path. So anyone want to tell me about awkward flex growing pains and their experiences?
You guys go.
Yeah, I'm getting nudged here, so I have to start. To me, in hindsight, it feels like the flex times in my life are when I really had a specific mission that was very, very important to me, that I kind of wanted to follow up on, and kind of executing on that mission always came with growing pains. And I think that's just a part of growth, that there is the discomfort, and it also brings about change. So I think if you do a big proper flex, it will bring inner change, but then this inner change will be reflected in outer change, which kind of means if for a long time nothing really has changed in your life and you're not moving forward in your relationships or job or whatever, then you probably are not flexing enough, or you kind of aren't able to properly focus on any mission that's important to you.
Painful.
And I guess one example for me would be to move to New Zealand to be with Holly. Where I had kind of this mission, we wanted to be together. It's just kind of developed that way at some point, where we started talking online while I was still living in Germany a couple of years ago. And actually making this relationship real was a lot of hard work, and it came with a lot of sacrifice. Because at the time I was lucky that I was between jobs, so I had time to spend on it and I had enough savings. So I was in a way randomly prepared, luckily enough, for me to do that. But I had to leave my life behind, have my family behind, leave all my friends behind, the only country that I ever lived in as an adult. And that was all very, very hard. And it came also with a lot of stress and anxiety, because we had to get, first of all my stuff over here. And then we had to apply for visas and figure that out. And that also created a lot of friction in our relationship, because it stressed me the fuck out, because I didn't exactly know what to do. And in a way, I also felt powerless to some extent, right? Because I need the government of New Zealand to tell me, hey, yes, you can actually stay here. And for a long time, it felt like I was almost not like a criminal, but suspicious, that you needed to prove that you are here actually for the right reasons. And I'm just thinking, hey, I'm just here because I'm in love with that woman and I want to be with her, and I'm not a criminal. I want to contribute to your economy and work and pay taxes. Leave me the fuck alone, right? So there were a lot of growing pains that came with that. But I had this really clear mission. We wanted to live together in the same country, preferably New Zealand. But then it was, I think, also important that it was not just about me, that kind of the whole thing satisfied multiple needs. Then for me to be with her, but also then to be her partner and have that connection. But then there's a lot of new that's coming with that. And we're also building a relationship. So you're kind of like doing OI in some way. And you're getting all of that if you're willing to put in the energy and put in the work. And then I also wasn't alone in that. Like, I had Holly to support me in the beginning, just emotionally, because she was too far away to practically help me with anything. But then that came later on, of course, once I moved here. But then my parents helped me a lot with getting everything ready and helping me to send all the packages to New Zealand and getting rid of all my other stuff that I couldn't bring, and so on and so forth. So I really needed to find something that I was personally invested on, that was my mission, that I would sign my name to, that was deeply important to me for different reasons, not just for myself, but also for others. And then I needed to create kind of a support structure around it, in terms of, like, call it tribe motivated, call it collaboration, whatever, to help me actually follow through. But then the follow through was really important. And it changed a lot. It changed a lot for the better. Like, I'm so much happier now, but I also had to let go of who I was in the past. And that came with pain. That, like, I still experience that pain, because you can say, yeah, I can still stay connected to my friends in Germany, but it's so much harder. Like, they're 12 hours away and the internet really can't do everything. But then it's about accepting that and creating new connections, and also, like, having the confidence that I can make new friends in this new country as well. So yeah, this would be my story about Flex and how I see Flex, or like one of the stories I could tell. I hope that helped to kind of give, like, the whole context of how I'm framing that in terms of not just flexing, but everything that needs to come together to actually execute on it successfully and to have growth from it. But the pain is real, but it's about, like, choosing the pain for the right reasons.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was beautiful.
Flex, yeah. I'm like taking notes over here. I'm like, yeah, that's great.
No, exactly. I'm like, you actually said a lot of things. I was like snatching along the way, like mission and pain. And I feel like even too, you like leveraged your generalized with the flex a little bit, with kind of, right, like having all these, but it's still like, that's what we're doing, right? You're connecting all of that together, and that, I like seeing that, I'm like, yes, and I need both of those. I need to leverage both of those. I want both my generalize and flex, but I love too how it starts with the mission. I do feel like when I use my flex, it's like that is the starting point, right? You come back to that as like the center, right?
Yeah, and then
something you said.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Do you?
Who else wants to go?
Yeah. Can you share too, Holly? I'm curious to hear about.
You should put
Zach's
Zach.
Sorry.
You should put Zach's little quote.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Love conquers all. Aw.
Very nice.
Even
immigration procedures.
Yeah.
Even the SI.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, you don't have demon SI. Why is that? That's my struggle.
Yeah, I don't have I have it nowhere in my stack. So this expectation to do a lot of SI was a lot of organizing, like gathering and organizing information and then presenting it to others, private information in parts.
Yeah.
Like I bitched about that a lot. I still did it, but there was a lot of tantruming along the way.
Yeah.
I guess there's some TE with it, right? It's like if you think about it, government paperwork is SITE. And even though Holly has SI last, at least you have the TE, because Parker does our paperwork and he's SETE, right? So it is like, he loves hopping around all that. I don't know. I feel like anyway.
Yeah, I think having the TE definitely helps, but like,
Still
I
hard.
don't know. And like I have SI, so I'm like, okay, I can kind of see why these processes are necessary, but at the same time, like they're a little over the top and ridiculous. It's just annoying.
Yeah, it is a lot of these SI rules are there for like a few people that are kind of the bad actors.
Right.
You actually want to protect yourself from, but then everyone else suffers as well.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Okay. So gonna move us along since we're finishing up soon though. Holly, do you have anything about that you'd like to share with your flex growth?
Yeah, so I think so I sort of define flex similarly to Felix, as like you kind of have to set a goal or a vision for yourself, and then you just have to execute on that. And I know it does tie into specialize as well for me, but because like specialize is having DI and OI, and I have those as demons. So the biggest struggle for me, well, aside from having FI last, one of the biggest struggles for me has been figuring out what I want to do for myself. Like who do I want to be? What goals do I want to achieve for myself? And that has been really hard because I've always been pulled in every direction by every person that I've been in a relationship with. My family as well, like what do they want? Okay, I'll go and do that with them. And then, the next person, what do they want? What do they need? And then I'll go and do that with them. And for that reason, it's been really difficult for me to figure out what it is that I want to do in my life, like career-wise, but then also hobbies, like what kind of hobbies do I want? Feels like everything I started, I would drop very quickly because I was doing it for someone else, like because someone else was doing it. So it really took, I guess the socials really helped me understand what I needed to do. And it really took me spending time figuring out what I want to do, and then having to say no to everything else that takes me away from that goal. And that's been the hardest part, is like putting myself first and saying no to what others need or want from me. Like if we are like social events and like friends and things like that, if I've only got a certain amount of time in my day and a friend wants to do something that takes me away from my goal, I have to say no. And I feel really shitty about it. And it's really hard to not feel like a bad person for saying no because someone needs something from me. But that's what I've had to learn to do. Otherwise, I just end up back where I was before, just going, who am I? What am I doing? And what do I want out of life?
Yes, I feel that. I feel that as well. Yeah, even with play first and then like having friends first gives me like a little extra play. It is like I'm blossoming into it. It's like you have play at the top, so you're doing that, I'm sure, more than me. But I just want to say I jive with what you're saying. That's such a hard part about doing flex. That's a process.
Yeah, because for you, it would having friends first would definitely make that play more extra and make it even harder for you to be like, no, I need some me time.
Yeah, no, I have a friend and exactly, and giving, like with the 4 being powerlessness, it's like I constantly like give my power to others too, like especially historically, right? Because that's the thing too. I don't want to be like, and the 1s are evil, because it is like this weird dynamic where I feel like 4s, we are like, we kind of, me, okay, at least me as a 4, and I am like, here's my power, like, here, take it, and they're like, okay, I have a mission. So it's not just like them, it's like part of this weird like dynamic where I'm like, okay, and here's more of my power, do you want this too? And like processing not doing that. And even with my friends who are really good people, trying to like take it back a little bit, and they're like, wait, but you're always doing all this for everyone. And I have to be like, no, I have this channel, and for me, I can come back to the mission, which is like, my channel will serve my family because it'll help us, like, have like better finances and all of that. I have to really come back to that, and it does come back to others then with the mission, which is what Dave and Shan has talked a lot about with it all. But yeah, like being like, no, taking my time. So yeah,
I think with the right mission, you really want to serve multiple people. You really don't want to make it only about yourself, right? So make it about your family, make it about the people you will serve with the business you want to build. But you can't make it about everybody, right? Because otherwise you just can't focus on the mission.
Otherwise it's about nobody. Exactly. Yeah, because then there's nothing from which for you to give. No, that's something crazy about 4s, and I wish I had I made a video about socials a little bit, and I wish I'd been a little more balanced, because it is like, again, coming back to, it's like 4s, we can be so giving, but then we give, then we have nothing. And then we give and we expect others to give. And so then it's like, wait, why aren't you like giving to me? I'm in need now. Now that I've given all my power away, all my finances away, and not spent it on myself. Wait, now, but you all should be paying for me, right? And it's imbalance. It's much better to like have that better in balance. And like I said,
it sounds very much like DIDE.
Like EJ.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so
really
weird. It is so weird. Yeah. I mean, it's like the cognitive, just still figuring all that out. Like, I almost feel like the socials, this is what I feel like. And you guys said this too. It's like the socials are like the stories. They're the journeys we take. And it almost feels like, do you know that machine where like the claw comes out and like grabs things in? Like, I wonder if that's like, like, I know, it's like there's like a thing that sweeps around. Sometimes it'll grab things. I guess what I feel like is like, I wonder if like what the 512 is relative to the socials is like, the socials are the stories that are happening. And so it's like Flex is DI. Is it just that like when I go through the Flex story, do I just hold on to that more? I don't know. It's so confusing how they all grab together. That is very sleepless. Sorry to throw that out to you guys, but anyway, they are clearly related.
Yeah.
But I am like in my mind all the time. Like, it is like I am definitely DI, masculine DI. I don't feel the not allowed to have like my opinions and that kind of thing. It's actually a weird dichotomy with being a 4, because it's almost like we're all here together doing this, and here's my DI. It's like,
the way I'm trying to kind of conceptualize that for myself, also for typing. So if one possible word for friends is like tribe motivated, or for Flex is self-motivated, what's then the self part in DI? Because there's of course self, but like different in a way. And what I've been experimenting with is self-perspective, right? That you kind of know who you are, but it doesn't mean you want to be at the top of the social pyramid, for example. It might be that you want to be on the foundation, be a number 4, or I could see that very clearly with Harrison Ford, who we typed in one of our classes. So he's a number 3, and he really clearly knows how he sees himself, how he defines himself as an actor, a storyteller, a pilot. If people contradict that, for example, if someone comes to him like, oh, Harrison Ford, you Indiana Jones, you're such a hero, he goes, no. I'm not a hero. I'm an actor. I play an actor in movies. I'm not actually that. And please don't see me as that. That contradicts my own perspective of myself.
My defined role.
Exactly, my defined role. But does he want to be at the top? Does he want to tell everybody what to do? Does he want to control everybody? Right. No. Like, he just wanted to make a living as an actor, and he overshot by a lot, but he is still clear on his self-perspective.
Yeah, no, so true. Oh my goodness.
You got to put what David said about Felix and Holly on the screen.
Oh,
that's very nice.
That is the great, like, I feel like that is the beauty of Blast Last. I know you guys like have so many struggles, but it's like when you blast, it is just like
really poignant,
so good, because it's just so well processed.
I very clearly away something from how you guys just described Flex. Like, I'm like, wow, I'm really literally taking your blast and like putting it in my bank, and like will emerge differently. So thank you.
That really means a lot.
Thank you. That means a lot.
That was very clear, like, and is changing me. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That's actually a huge compliment.
And
I think maybe the important lesson that it comes with practice, right? That we've been practicing for a long time to speak on camera, to write down our thoughts, and that's how you get better at whatever you have last. Just practice and put in the time, then it's going to get better over time.
Especially the writing down your thoughts, because you guys can probably relate to like OE, like your brain is just a shit mess, and if you don't kind of pre-process what you're going to say, you're just like, you just hear word vomit comes out, and none of it makes any sense.
Yes, agreed.
The trick is to not record when that happens, and when you record, script and edit, and then it's so much better.
Oh my gosh, do you want to know what? Like, I've been trying. It's weird. I will write it. It's like I've just been recording. Like, I think this might be. I've been recording 3 times. It's like I do the first one and then it's crap, and then I throw that out, and then it's like I use the third one. Yeah, I feel like that might be the flip there, because like I was trying to use scripts and they were tripping me up. I think it's like too much sleep or something. It's like it's known, so like my brain just fights it, and like I would record it and my husband was like, "You look frustrated." I was like, "I am, I think." Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're finding your like how to practice your blast too, and it's you'll refine it too. I really do think it does start coming together too when you're like how Felix and Holly were saying, and like I know on the Daisy, like my videos on that channel aren't like anything to write home about, but like I'd be like, what am I even trying to say? And then like as you go, like find your little way of delivering the message, and you just keep going, even if you feel like just like, what am I saying? Like, you need to find your way.
It's I remember Uzair saying something similar, because I was talking to him about scripts, because we use scripts, and I actually try to stick to the script more than Felix does. He has a much harder time sticking to it, and Uzair says that like he kind of has like an outline, like bullet points, and then he will just hit record like once through, and it might be shitty and he doesn't like it, so then he'll scrap that and then do it again, and he records like sometimes 3 times, but like but like that's kind of how he does it, and then he sort of doesn't even really follow the script, whereas for us like I just want to do it once. I don't want to do it more than once. I would much rather like have the script, follow the script, just do it once, because otherwise like the more I try to do it again, the more I end up messing it up for myself. It's like my brain just does not want to repeat the same thing more than once.
Yes.
It's really hard.
I really think that... Go ahead.
I just want to say I have an easier time doing that, because I record most of our videos in chunks, where we have like a small chunk that we say, and we repeat that until we get it right. And for most chunks, it's just once, sometimes once or twice. Sometimes we need 5 tries. Right, which can get frustrating, but I have still an easier time doing it until I don't trip myself up.
Yeah.
The more I do it, the more I trip myself up. It's like I've got maybe 1 or 2 tries, and then I just can't say it again.
Yeah, that's probably because you still have play above sleep. Perhaps that factors in with that as well. Yeah, because I'm like, I can't read my script again. I'm like, I can't even just like, I wrote that yesterday. That was forever ago.
You don't want to say something again.
The way our brains lie to us.
I know.
Person anymore who wrote that.
I'm not even that. Okay, well, this was like a super, super lovely chat, you guys.
Yeah, this was really good.
We enjoyed it.
You guys are rad.
Good. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thanks, Mel, for being here through everything.
Love to hang with you all.
And thanks to the 2 of you. Thanks so much for inviting us and for having us.
And thank you for organizing too.
Yeah, you both did a really great job.
Yeah.
Aww. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thanks for
exactly. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and chatting with us. Especially, well, we love you all. Okay, right? I want to be like David, Saki, Moosh, everyone, Nate, who really was talking a lot to us, and everyone who just was watching us too.
Yeah,
we appreciate you all.
Officially squash the beef.
There is no beef.
There was no beef. I don't know. There was no beef.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Boop.